Hey there guys, welcome back to Community StarCraft 2. As promised, I am here with the Losers Bracket Final in the European Battle.net Invitational, trying to get everything out very quickly because I'm so excited for this series. This is going to be Dignitas'Naniwa, who's playing under just Nani, I guess, on this account. He's spawning in the top left-hand corner of Shakura's Plateau. He's going to be fighting the red Terran player, who is mouz'ThorZain. And I'm so excited for this because of what a show these guys put on for the TSL3 finals, which seems like forever ago. And I guess in the terms of StarCraft's life so far, it was forever ago. But that was the finals. It was a 7-game series that went all 7 games, and it was just so much fun to watch. Every game was intense. I cannot express how great that series was, and the fact that they're back in the Losers Bracket Final for a major tournament right now is very exciting. Whoever wins this will go on to play Rhett, who has really been cleaning up during this tournament, and we will see who gets the privilege of going to the finals. I've read conflicting information on what the prize pool is. I've read on Blizzard's site it was around $11,000, but then I read somewhere else that it was 10. So nevertheless, it's a lot of money for just winning a 2-day event. We pull up the production tab, see what's going on. Nothing unusual from both of these players. In terms of Naniwa's pedigree, I know I've never casted him before, but he's such a solid Protoss player. He always finishes well in any tournament he enters. He won MLG Dallas after playing through the open bracket, only losing 2 games and winning something crazy like 27 games. So an insane record through the open bracket and through the championship bracket and pool play. Completely wasted everybody there. And ThorZain, his biggest arrival was on that TSL3. He did win the TSL3, and he just stomped onto the scene. Nobody had really heard of him. And then he just came in and melted faces once he got into an actual competition in which a lot of stuff was on the line. So we're going to see where these players transition to very shortly, as Naniwa's second gas is now starting. That's a pretty good indicator that he wants to go tech pretty early. ThorZain going for a gasless expand off of 1 barracks, so he's being pretty aggressive in expanding here. Landing Mule at his mineral line to get everything mining as much as he possibly can. Marine is now coming out once again, making this just a couple Marines on the field. A probe holding the watchtower. Nothing very unusual going on so far, but if Naniwa wanted to go for a 1 base, or rather 1 gateway expand, he'd be a little late for that right now, considering he does have his second gas. It's a little strange to grab your second gas when you're going for a 1-gate expansion, but he may indeed do that. I guess we'll have to see what he wants to do. He is going Stalker first into Sentry, so we'll see what he wants to do out of that. It's a little bit obscure. You usually grab a Zealot there, but he wanted to spend the minerals on the gas instead. So I'd expect some quick tech to come down out of Naniwa. We'll see what it is. ThorZain, again, just standard stuff here, adding only a second barracks. You usually add 3, or at least a third, as soon as your expansion gets started. So he's playing just a little bit on a little bit of a slow macro build right now. He is floating the resources for it, so I'm a little puzzled as to why he's not doing that. But nevertheless, he lands a mule at the expansion just in time for the command center as soon as it gets started. Naniwa is being annoying on these Marines, just putting them at least all 1 hit down from their maximum amount of health and not losing any hull damage on there, only shield damage which can be regenerated. Naniwa looks like he did go for that 1 gateway expansion. There's a second gate coming up. I would expect something else, like a robotics facility. I'm not sure what he wants to do. He is floating quite a bit of gas. Maybe he just wants to go pretty sentry heavy to start this off. But kind of unusual builds from both of these players so far. Tech Lab and a reactor coming down on these 2 barracks that are already done. Here comes that robotics facility, as I was expecting. So I guess he's on pace with what I'm thinking he's going to do, but I still don't know how he's wanting to transition out of this. Naniwa is a player that really likes to get Colossus out early, so that may be the meaning behind his 2 fast gases, so he can drop his robotics bay as soon as the facility is done, and then get his thermal lance and a Colossus at the same time. So he's not wasting any time. He likes to do a lot of goofy Colossus timing pushes, where he'll get 2 Colossus out, or Colossi, whatever, and push. And most people would be like, isn't that a little early for that? But no, he makes it work. I think his thinking is that non-shielded Marines would die in 2 shots from a Colossus anyway, or at least if my math is correct. Guess we'll have to check those numbers. Let's see. I guess it doesn't say it until you have the unit selected, but anyway, I'm pretty sure that's how it would work. Here comes the robotics bay now, so just as I was expecting, and this is very smart. You can see if ThorZain were to land a scan right here, which is where most Terran players are going to scan, he's not going to see this tech hidden over here, so he's going to get this information, but he's not going to see the very fast Colossus bay or robotics bay, whatever you want to call it. Very standard macro stuff here going down from here from both of these players. Here comes a factory out of ThorZain. Expect a starport immediately afterward to start medevac so he can get his bioforce rolling. And this is really the matchup in which ThorZain excels. His control with his bio units is very, very good. And it takes a high-class Protoss to deal with that. He actually beat MC in a best-of-5 series, wherein the fourth game, I believe, was one of the most insane Protoss versus Terrans I've ever seen. So if you guys want to watch a great game, go look up Team Liquid Net's channel. It's called Team Liquid Net. And look for Game 4 of ThorZain versus MC. It should be on Tal'Darim Altar. It's an amazing game if you guys want to see quality Terran versus Protoss play. What is that SCV doing? He just gets rallied down to a random mineral patch and then go back home. I think he may have been kind of looking out for proxy pylons and decided he might as well mine while he's down there. So that was bizarre. Anyway, here comes the Colossus, and yes, the thermal lance at the same time, just as we were expecting. +1 armor is on the way instead of +1 weapons, which he doesn't have many zealots for that to really help out all that much. I'd figure that if you're going for Colossus this fast, you probably want to get a fast +1 attack and then roll in there with your Colossus. Let's see if I was right about that Marine number. 15, 30, so yeah, 2 shots will kill a Marine. So even a shielded Marine nonetheless, as the Colossus will put out 50, or rather 30 damage per shot. 2 Colossus would make it 60, and that's obviously going to kill a Marine in those hits. But anyway, this game's developing just a little slowly. Naniwa acting as if he wants to take his expansion here, and he's going to do the same thing and mine just a little bit of minerals while he's waiting around. Here come more gateways for Naniwa. He's going to put him on 6 in addition to his robotics facility. He's chronoing out these Colossus pretty hard. Thermal Lance is almost done, +1 armor is almost done. He's now getting a Twilight Council, probably going to start +2 armor, I would figure. And I think ThorZain is going for a Blind Ghost Academy. So he does not have any Vikings on the field. Oh, he's now starting Vikings in addition to his Ghosts, so we'll see where he wants to go with that. Look at how skimpy this force is from Naniwa. He's comfortable enough to push. He's going to need some ridiculously good force fields to try and engage this army, and I think ThorZain sees that, and he's like, I mean, do I fight him, or do I, you know, not risk getting baited into a little clumping force field so I can get my entire army lined up and then killed by Colossus? But if Naniwa was able to do that, I'd be very impressed. This is such a skimpy force right now. There's going to be a 3rd Colossus on the field. I think Naniwa actually smelled out that drop. So there's going to be a drop coming back here for ThorZain, but he has Stalkers ready to go in the back of his base. There's also a Colossus here, but it's being moved to the front. So Naniwa is so aware of what's going on right now. Dropship is now floating in. Naniwa needs to back up just a little bit, and ThorZain sees the Stalkers and heads home. As you can see, this is his vision, and this is very smart. He's going to engage these Stalkers when all the bio is down, or at least try to pick off a building or 2 if he possibly can. He's going to make Naniwa pull some forces, but he's pulling them from behind, so this is really smart as well. Blink is not quite done yet, though, so he can't chase this drop down kind of the way he would want to. Naniwa needs to be careful with his Colossus and not let him get too far up there. So you can see ThorZain really wants to get that down, but again, no hull damage taken. Naniwa is playing such a clean, crisp game so far, and ThorZain is playing decently. He's definitely reacting to what is thrown his way. A ton of stuff coming down, and armory coming down here for ThorZain so he can start his +2/+2. I'm not sure if he's on double engineering bay or not. I don't think so. So you can see just 1 there. Here's +2 armor. Zealot legs are now on the way. A couple more pylons. Standard normal stuff here. ThorZain has a pretty menacing army out right now, but he needs to engage very carefully and kill these Colossus before the, or rather, yes, ThorZain needs to kill these Colossus with his Vikings before 2 of them get focused down. Sorry about that. Vikings are pressing up here. ThorZain is well in the lead of supply right now. And the Stalkers blink up, trying to kill these Vikings. Picking off 2 Vikings is actually a pretty big deal right now. There's a couple of Ghosts in this composition, though, too. And if he lands EMPs, he may just be able to stim, attack move, and kill all this stuff if he gets in there well enough. But Naniwa has a lot of energy on these sentries. He'll have to EMP them twice in order to get all those force fields out of there. ThorZain is now on double reactored starports, as we can see him cranking out Vikings as fast as he can as he sees the heavy commitment to Colossus from Naniwa. Charge is almost done, so normal stuff in Naniwa's base once again. ThorZain is now getting his third established, while Naniwa's third is already done. But what's with Naniwa's rally on his Nexus? You see he's rallied to this gateway, and there's probes there, and there's a second one here like, ooh, look at that gateway. There's nothing going on here. I think he just noticed it now. Weird misclick, but you don't see that very often. There's a bunch of stalkers that are caught out of position here. They do have blinks so they can run away, but still, you don't want to let your stalkers get out that far. He does pick off one Viking and then blink away, so it's a good trade. There's now 5 Colossus on the field. As this force grows, it's going to be harder and harder for ThorZain to manage it. Here come the stalkers pressing up here once again. They want to get another Viking, but they can't. There's one stalker that missed Blunk. He's on top of the high ground. He's trying to join his buddies, but he's going to have to wait until his blink cools down.